everyone. We're going to have a look at actually building our matte painting. Just to begin, we're going to start by looking at the basic steps, and after that I'm going to kick into a time lapse and you can actually see me attempt to build my matte painting. So once your matte plate is ready, here's my matte plate ready to rock and roll. Next thing we want to do is set up our vanishing points. There's my vanishing points. After that, concept sketch. So I've got a pretty good idea of where I'm going to go, and here is my very rough concept sketch. After that, we're ready to step into the next stage, which is the actual build. Then import your assets, and I've actually got an asset library that I've set up and labeled most of this, including auxiliary assets, things like barbed wire, for example. And if we cycle through here, you can see there's all sorts of different assets that I might potentially use, and most of these are photos that I've taken. Otherwise, building assets, stuff that I can use for building and adding to my building for my matte painting. Ruins, which could be useful as well. Exhaust assets, ground images, sky and background, and also one with some textures in here as well, which can be useful as well. So it really is a good idea just to check that you've got all your ducks in a row as far as that goes. But let's have a look at the next step. Once we've imported our assets, what we can do then is do a quick depatch or cutout, preferably using the mask technique. Remember, masks are non-destructive, so if you can really get used to using those, it's going to save you a lot of grief in the future. So do a quick one so you don't waste too much time. Move and transform into place. If it's still usable once you've put it in place and go, okay, that's going to work with as far as things like perspective and just style of the entire image, then you can step on to refining the depatch, doing a good cutout of it, then do a color correction so it matches the rest of your image, and then start adding things like drop shadows. So if it needs to be on a ground plane, it will typically have a shadow, and then inner shadows and highlights, and that's shadows and highlights applied to the asset that you've imported, not just the drop shadow. And then finally repeat, import assets, and continue until you've got a pretty good build for your matte painting. Now that's definitely not the final step. After that we will look at integrating the whole lot and then adding things like atmosphere and also hitting shadows and highlights and just doing a whole lot of other cool stuff just to make our final image look absolutely amazing. So let's get to it.